Welcome to this briefing which explains some of the key issues behind what governors need to know about exclusions. And I'm delighted that Malcolm Lee, our governance trainer on exclusions, is here to cover these basic points. So, Malcolm, what do we actually mean when we use the phrase exclusions?
Well, broadly speaking, this is a decision taken by a head teacher to remove a child from the school site for a disciplinary reason, either for a fixed period of time, which must be stated at the outset, or permanently.
Well, clearly, the decision to exclude a pupil from lessons is an important area for a governing body. So, Malcolm, what are the duties on governing bodies in relation to exclusions?
Well, there are various statutory duties incumbent on the governing body in relation to exclusions. Firstly, the governors set and review the school's behaviour policy. They must also consider any representations made by parents about the exclusion of their child. There may be a duty on the governing body to consider these representations by holding a formal hearing, for example, in the case of permanent exclusions. In reviewing a head's decision to exclude a child, the governors must balance the interests of all parties objectively and impartially.
So, for a governing body to carry out this duty effectively, which governors may sit on the panel and what do they need to do?
Well, to sit on the panel of a formal exclusion hearing, the governors in question must have undertaken adequate training within the last 2 years, and the panel must contain at least 3 trained governors.
So at least 3 governors on the panel, but how many of the school governors should have received exclusion training?
As many as possible, preferably all of them.
Why is that?
Well, the governors on the panel must also be demonstrably impartial. Therefore, if a governor has knowledge of the child, or through discussion with the head, knowledge of the case, that particular governor would not be eligible to be included on the panel, even if they'd received the training. Also, the statutory timescales for a hearing to take place are sometimes quite demanding. Hearings for permanent exclusions, for example, should take place no later than 15 school days after the exclusion is notified. Because clerks often find it challenging to find 3 trained impartial governors who are all available within the statutory timescale, it's important that governing bodies ensure that they have the widest possible pool of governors available to draw upon should they need to form a panel.
What about schools that really exclude their pupils, especially permanent exclusions? Does this advice apply equally to them?
Oh yes, this advice applies even if exclusions rarely happen in a school. Situations sometimes arise unexpectedly and governors need to be prepared in case they do. As a governor, of course, one hopes that one is never called upon to discharge this duty. However, training should be regarded at least as an insurance in the event that it's required.
But could a school, say, borrow a trained governor from another school's governing body?
No, the regulations allow only for the governing body of the school from which the child is excluded to review a head teacher's decision to exclude.
So for a governing body to carry out effectively this important duty, what support and help is available for them, Malcolm?
Well, Herts for Learning, the governance section, offers 2 training courses for governors. The first is simply called Exclusions. It lasts 2 hours and entitles the governor to sit on the panel of an exclusion hearing if called upon to do so. The other is a 3-hour course called Exclusions in Practice. This is not essential, but allows the theory learnt in the first session to be practised, thereby building confidence and insight into the process. If a governor wishes to make a booking, they should use the usual governance email address.
Malcolm, thank you.